North End are back at Deepdale. We're back at home. We're playing home matches once more. And this is the second match week of the Championship season, 22-23, and we played Hull City at home. A game which, if we're looking back last year when we lost 4-1 to Hull at home, it's a better result, but it's still not a fantastic result. So let's do the same as last week, shall we? We'll switch to Google and we'll take a look at the stats. But before I do talk about the stats a little bit, this video is late, apologies. After the match yesterday, we got a bit busy. There were some things the family had to do which prevented me from making this video. But yeah, we'll talk about the first half to begin with. And I'll say that it was a very fast and action-packed first 10 minutes with 2 good chances to boot. It slowed down a lot after that. There was a lot of playing backwards and we couldn't really make any decision at all. Like, we were very hesitant in our decision making. There was not really any stand-up play for me in the first half. There was an injury to Lindsay's head and also to Whiteman's cock, which he took very well, as did Lindsay. And it really, I think the first half just cemented to me that we do need some midfield changes, because the midfield was very slow in its responses as well as poor in its movement and passing. It didn't really shake up until the second half after a couple of subs were made. The starting lineup for the game was exactly the same as what it was for Wigan, and it was the wrong decision because we didn't play any better than we played against Wigan in the first half. Of course, Woodman didn't really get tested in the first half. Story had a good first half, as did Lindsay and Hughes. The back line is solid once again. Whiteman did okay. Potts didn't have much to do. Brady was okay. Johnson was fine again. Brown didn't do much, and then the front two didn't really have anything to do after the first 5 minutes. So these lot didn't really work in conjunction together, and you can't say it's down to possession because we definitely had most of the possession throughout most of the game. We was definitely very possessive in the first half. We just did not do anything about it. I don't know why, but the first half was just very slow. It was an absolute drag. Moving on to the second half, I will say this now, that the linesman with the plain green flag, not the checkered one, absolutely clueless all game, absolute twat. The ball went out of play so many times, did do nothing about it. Plenty of chances for him to call for his flag and he did nothing once more. It's terrible, absolutely terrible. Every official in the Championship is absolutely awful and needs sorting out. There was a blatant handball at 49 minutes, I thought. Moving forward, there were more chances at the start of the second half. There was better aggression. Brown was slowing the ball again, and he started to slow the pace down of the match again, which is when I thought a sub was needed around the hour mark, but it wasn't made until just before the 70-minute mark. There was very little spatial awareness, and like I said just then, the referee were very strange. And as well, we was very reluctant to pull the trigger a few times. We just tried to keep playing the ball around, maybe put a few crosses in, which probably the wrong idea, because at a few moments I thought we actually could have maybe taken a shot. But oh well. Alvaro came on for Potts. I thought Potts had an okay game. There was a great chance at 65, which from the town end looked like it went in at first, but it was just a deflection off an elbow, off a shoulder, I think, and it hit the side net, which was a bit of a shame. The keeper as well for Hull. Oh my lord, that keeper was absolutely full of shit. It was like a bad pantomime throughout most of his performance. Towards the end of the second half, just time wasting after time wasting after time wasting, walking towards the balls, I give it a kick out like he's done everything all game, like he's been sprinting everywhere. But then at one point the ball was on the left side of the back of the net and he was looking around the right side and he's like, where's the ball? Until we had to give him abuse and say it's on the left side, and that's when it was like, ooh, sorry, and he's full of shit, mate, behave yourself. It was terrible, absolutely terrible. We had a corner which was absolutely wasted, short corner. Woodburn came on too late, I think, but he set up for Pirates' huge chance around 83 minutes, which was far too slow in his response. He just kept dribbling, kept moving with the ball too long. Should have had the shot not long after he made contact. But yeah, it was a fantastic ball from Woodburn. Hull players were taking forever to leave the pitch as well, which was disgusting. The referee should have said something, but the keeper definitely kept the referee busy so that they can keep time wasting. Yeah, the referees are appalling. Chase the ball again. This is a problem North End had for a very long time. They've still not sorted it out, and that's when the ball is being passed around. We don't move towards the ball. We let the ball come to our feet, which by then another player has probably come swooping past us to take the ball. We're doing this too often, especially near their box, and we can't be doing that, because if you want to play aggressive football, you've got to be aggressive on the ball. And if you're not being aggressive on the ball, How are you meant to, get a shot? If you're waiting for the ball to come and you've got 6 defenders near you, they're going to try and take the ball off you. You've got to move. A bit more movement won't kill you. At the end of the match as well, there were some pitch invading little shits. Don't know where they came from, but if I had to guess anything, it'd be to try and talk to the players. Which, please, parents, control your fucking children. Pitch invasions are not something that we should be doing. If you are going to pitch invade, the only time I can see it as somewhat acceptable is when it's like a cup final and you've won or something. That's semi understandable. But the first home game of the season, your kids are running onto the pitch asking for shirts. It's shocking, absolutely shocking. So we got man of the match, which was deserved. But yeah, verdict again, same as last week. Same old Preston in many places, slow and unaware. But in a lot of places, there was also improved, which we're going to talk about now based on the stats. But before I talk about stats, let me say the town end for this game, absolutely incredible support. The town end was fully packed, guaranteed most of them being season ticket holders. And the flag scheme by P&E Online with the massive waivers and the countless different flags, very, very good idea. Very, very good atmosphere that day, and I hope it continues. So yeah, let's talk about the shots and stuff, shall we? So we had 20 shots with 6 on target, which leaves us a roughly 30-ish plus % on target rate, and they had a 17% on target rate with 6 shots to 1, which, let me just double check, I think that is very similar to what we had against Wigan, if I'm being very rememberful, if that's even a word. If I'm remembering that correctly, we had 11 to 2, so it was double that, but it was still the same percentage margin, which wasn't very good. So I'll keep this up as well, just for reference. Obviously, we had no red card this time, which is good. Last game we had 11 shots to 2 on target. This time we had 20 shots to 6 on target, so at least we're playing a more aggressive game for sure, and there's more on target, which is also good. But again, I think it was just a bit too slow and a bit too impulsive on a few of them attempts. 63% in possession this time. Last time we only had 48. It's not a big jump, but it's still a good difference when you compare it to what the other team had, being 37%. 5-10 passes versus 3-7-1 last time. Again, that's no fault to the possession. I couldn't word that properly, apologies. Yeah, the possession helped with that. 81% pass accuracy to 75, so that's better. 13 fouls to 17. 3 yellow cards last time to 1 this time. 2 offsides, 4 corners. 1 offside, 4 corners. 4 corners definitely is an average for us in most cases. So yeah, that is. I think the stats sort of speak for himself. It's not terrible actually. I do think we had the more dominant display in the match. There's no doubt about that. But at the same time, I can't say that we really did fantastically, because a lot of the time it was just dabbling around the midfield. We didn't exactly do much, but when we did try to go in for an attack, it was getting forward to make the attack. That was very frustrating. We didn't really know how to set an attack up, and when we did set the attack up, we just could not pull that trigger at all. And I don't know who's at the fault for it, but there was definitely some problems. I think we had close to 16,000 in attendance as well. P&E versus Hull attendance. I'm pretty sure we had about 16,000. Yeah, very, very, very close to 16,000 total. 1,000 of them were away fans, which only means that we had roughly just over 1,000 walk-ins. The rest were season ticket holders, so 1,000's not terrible considering it's only Hull. But for the first game of the season, you'd expect a little bit more than 15,000, 16,000. I predicted 17,500 for the attendance total before we came to the match. So yeah, I was definitely very off there. And I was talking about home fans. So we only had about 14,000-ish home fans on, which isn't that much, to be honest with you, considering we hold just short shy 24,000, something like that. Yeah, Simpson referee, terrible, awful, fucking terrible. Okay, so we'll talk about player ratings, and then we'll wrap up just like last time. So Woodman again. It wasn't exactly challenged. I give him a 6 again because, like I said, he didn't have much to do. He positioned himself well. However, he had one very it was a save to make, but it was only it wasn't exactly a challenging save, but he still made the save comfortably. And he had a run out at one point where he ran to try and get the ball, which was very dangerous as it went straight behind him. So it's a good job that we could continue to keep the ball safe at that point. Excuse me, I had to yawn. Jordan Story, I give him a 7, definitely man of the match. Great defending all game, he kept his position very well, he had made some early runs. and he was reluctant to play forward for some reason. But he did very well in his position, and I can't fault him for that. Very good. That loan deal definitely did him some good. Lindsay, again, got stuck in after his head injury. He carried on in good spirit as well, which was good to see. I think he saw the ball a bit too much more than he wanted to. He didn't exactly look comfortable in places when he had the ball, which just led to him aimlessly passing either to Story Hughes or Whiteman instead of trying to put it up forward to Brady or Johnson when they was on the flank. Oh, ice cream. Dog's barking. What's that? You want an ice cream, boy? For the record, I don't condone feeding dogs ice cream. I was only having a laugh because he wanted to leave the room. Yeah. So yeah, I think his passing were a little bit aimless, so that needs working on. Hughes a 6 again, never in any trouble. He had a bit of a comfortable game. Potts I give him a 5 because I don't think he really had much quality in the first half. He was okay in the second, but weren't on for long. In the second half, he played 70 minutes, and his crosses were, well, they weren't fantastic by any means, but the crosses that he did play in were okay. They didn't really exactly unfold into anything, but that's no fault of his own. Brady is 6.5. He was one of the driving forces in the midfield. He definitely wanted to try and make them runs. I thought he was good in the second half, but his crosses... I'm reading the wrong part. I'm so sorry. Might help if I scrolled. I'm reading Potts. He was one of the driving forces of the midfield. Good efforts made. Again, he was sloppy in his possession, and he played a few strange balls in, but he did lack creativity in his movement and his passes, despite the vision. He has very good vision. He just needs to learn how to play that ball in correctly. Brown slow on the ball. He had a better second half, as did everyone, to be honest with you. I think he goes for a bit of style in his movement and his touches a bit too often to try and look flashy, which definitely leads to him being on a bit of a downside because it results to him losing the ball the way he does. So that needs changing instantly. He just needs to play a simple game. He had one good chance and he'd made some good defensive efforts, but didn't do much more beside that, I don't think. Whiteman probably a 5, which was improved. He had improved defending, definitely, and he actually allowed the midfield to play forward. That being these four, he allowed them to play forward, but he didn't exactly challenge Hull himself. Of course, his defending is better. The whole team defensively is better, but he needed to play forward a bit more because he's very good when he plays forward, and he just did not do that. And he did take that knock to his knob quite well as well, to be honest with you. I would have expected most people to stay down for quite a while after taking something like that, but he just got straight back to it. So all the credit in the world, because something like that is extremely painful, as anybody knows who's played football before. Johnson had a 6. He had a quiet first half with. Which was common with most people. The second half, he had a few good chances. He made a few good chances, sorry. His influence was starting to show, but he got subbed off around that time, which leaves him now with 250 club appearances, and he's closing on 300 career appearances, which is very, very good. All the credit in the world to Johnson. He's been a fantastic player for all the years he's been with us. He's better than he was last match, but still not showing the quality that we know he has. Parrott, I've seen people give him a 6 and a 7. I'm going to have to give him a 5.5. I'm sorry, but he didn't really seem to have massive impacts in the first half again. Second was he was the main goal threat, but he only had one good effort and royally fucked up the 3 big chances that he actually had. We had 5 massive chances that we missed all match, and 3 of them were from Parrott. 5 is the highest of any match that was played on Saturday in the Championship. We missed the most good chances. So think of that as you will. That's what I mean about lacking that cutting edge. He definitely needs his first goal as soon as possible to boost his confidence and make him feel like he's actually there, because he just doesn't seem all there. And Reece, a 5, he didn't really have any threat in the whole match. He was just sort of there. It was pretty quiet. He did good to try and win the ball back in places, but Reece shouldn't be doing this. Reece should be getting ready to prepare to score a goal. It should be other people chasing down the ball. Because Troy kept quite close to Reece in a couple of places, which when Reece gets the ball back, it leaves him with the option to pass it to Brown, Johnson, Whiteman to try and have a shot, which they don't do. They prefer to keep it by the feet for Parrott and Reece to then line up. But Parrott's positioning tries to be symmetrical to Reece in places, and even if that means behind Reece, which is not what we need. They both need, like, one needs to be on the left, one needs to be on the right, but with Reece chasing all these balls from left to right, sometimes, that's what I mean, the person on the respective side isn't doing their job properly. So that needs to change. But yeah, Reece had a more possessive game, which was about 50-50 in most places. He wanted more of the ball. Then he actually got given. So Reece, again, quiet. The subs that were made were Alvaro, which was a 7. He didn't have massive game time, but it was still longer than last week. He did well on the left and wasn't afraid to move in field or have a go. And he had good passing and crossing as well. He had a few possessive errors, but beside that, again, Fernandez had made a good effort today, and it was really nice to hear everyone singing his name in that new chant for about 5 minutes straight. It was very good. And our last sub, Woodburn, he realistically should be starting over Brown or Johnson, I think. He did fantastic work to pick out Parrott for his 1v1 chance. Good control and a good possessive game as well, but he didn't do much more than that. But yeah, Woodburn needs to be starting, as do most other people. Like I said last time, these people, I don't understand how Brown starts over McCann or these other examples that people have said countless times on Twitter and other social media websites. Law said that Brown gets a start because McCann's not putting in enough work. I'm not being funny, but if you haven't seen the influence that McCann brings to that pitch when he's running around, McCann has a higher work rate than Brown has had for the last 2 years, and McCann's not been with us that long. Like, I think Brown doesn't really deserve to start the games. He gets it out of captaincy, but then again, as far as I'm aware, Daniel Johnson captained this game, so I don't know what's going on. But Brown shouldn't be starting, and I don't think Potts should be either. I've got nothing against Potts. I do love Potts, and I love Brown, but they need to start shifting things up. I think Woodburn should start in place of Brown or Potts, and then Alvaro again, or vice versa, whichever they're more comfortable. I'm still not familiar with Fernandez and his position and where he's comfortable. Ledson is more of a stopper when it comes to things, so I think Ledson could do well paired with Whiteman, but I'm still not too sure. And I think Mikey O'Neill definitely needs more playtime. I've been backing the lad since last season. He did fantastic for the academy. There's a reason why he's been offered this professional contract, and why, unlike Bennett, he's not been sent out on loan to another team. We need to be starting O'Neill, or at least giving him a substitution chance around 60 minutes, 70 minutes, rather than for the last 5 minutes in some cases. O'Neill needs to start. He showed us in pre-season that the man's got a massive fucking influence, because in the midfield he's not afraid to play infield, outfield, make the run forward, and maybe even have a goal. These other players, they're too reluctant to make the runs forward, and when they do make the run forward, if they have a clear chance to shoot, they're too reluctant to do anything about it. Whereas O'Neill is not afraid to have that chance. He will take that chance, because that's what he did all the way through the academy, all the way through the under-19s, and now he'll do it for the senior team. No idea what's going on with Bauer. He's just not fitting into Gaffer's plans by the looks of things. But oh well. But yeah, beside that, McCann should be starting. O'Neill, in my opinion, should be starting, and so should Woodburn. So in that case, Brown bench, Johnson bench, Potts bench. Brady, he does more work in the midfield, I think, than these three, so he should be starting. I'm fine enough with having the 3 at the back, because they seem to be doing well. But instead of doing a 1-4 and then 2, I think we should be doing maybe a 2. Yeah, a 2-3-2 maybe. I don't know. It's very difficult to try and pick out a good starting. What did we play against Middlesbrough? I think we had a great game against Borough. I don't know if that's just down to last season. I don't know if that's just down to Middlesbrough feeling too much pressure from the position they were in. But like I said, look at the stats here. We had 15 shots and 10 of them were on target. That is a fantastic ratio. Let me get my calculator up. Hang on. 10 divided by 15. That's 67% roughly. So 67% of our shots on target. That's fantastic considering we want to play the attacking football. Borough had more possession, more passes, but we still made the most of our opportunities on the ball, giving us 3. Well, of course, Reece scored once, Brown scored, then there was an own goal, which was quite unfortunate. However, it was still a chance for us to play that in anyways. And then there was a red card and a handball and a penalty. Excluding the penalty, that still would have been a 3-1 game, 2-1 game. We had a lot more desire in that game to finish strongly and keep Borough from that playoff. Which, fair enough, maybe they felt the pressure of the playoff and we felt the pressure to finish on a high. I'm not too sure. But look at that, they had no corners, no fucking corners. We had 7. That's our attacking play challenging their defence. Fair enough, we had an offside as well. I'm not going to count that. They had 1 red card, handball, of course. We had 3 yellow cards. They had 6. It was a very scrappy game. However, 14 fouls to 13. Yeah, fair enough. The passing action, I'm not going to look at the passes. I'm also not going to look at same with the possession because that doesn't matter. What matters is the fact that we had 7 fucking corners and 67% of our shots on target as well. We played with a fight in that game, right? And our lineup, if we look at this, is basically exactly the same as what it was against Wigan and Hull. So what's going on? What's going wrong? We can't put Everson in the spotlight because, of course, Everson's not with us and using the goal anyway, so he can't go forward. Lindsay was playing on the left or the right, whichever way that goes, I'm not too sure. But Lindsay wasn't playing in the centre. Diaby was. I think Diaby's injured at the moment, so I can't say Diaby should be playing when he's injured. Vandenberg back up to Liverpool. Whiteman in the middle again. Potts where he was, and then Brown and McCann in the same spot, but we didn't have Brady at that time. And then Johnson swapping for where Brady is now. Reece up front with Archer. Reece just playing on the other side now, maybe to accommodate for Parrott. Archer didn't have massive influence that game, so I can't exactly say Archer's better than Parrott, even though Archer made an impact sooner than Parrott already has. Oh, it's baffling. It is baffling because, like I said, it's essentially the same lineup. I'll get to the verdict. The verdict starting lineup has to include Woodburn, Alvaro, and either McCann or O'Neill. The cutting edge is still missing, as is the confidence in the forward play. The defending is much improved, and now it's time to work on attacking because Luton are likely to fuck our shit up because we never play well against Luton, especially at their ground. So I've not got massive hopes for Luton. I'll talk about our Carabao Cup adventure against Huddersfield as well. Why not? It's still more content at the end of the day. I don't know how well Carabao Cup's going to go for us, the EFL Cup. I'd have no idea how well that's going to go for us, but only one way to find out. Thanks for watching. I apologise for me ranting about the lineup, but as most people can probably agree with me, this needs changing because it's not working like it did against Borough, so something does need to change. However, it's a game that we definitely deserve to win more than the last one, and that's why the title is appropriately how we not won that. So I'm going to go and get some food in me because I don't feel well. And I'll hopefully see you all in the next video of mine when I'm not hungover. So thanks again and peace.